Hello, guys. Okay, so this is your first video for the year. Welcome, welcome. Today, let me just pull this down. We are going to talk about the order of operations. So, order of operations. This is on your Canvas account. So, if you do want to print that out, that is completely fine. Otherwise, you can just write your own notes and just write exponents and whatever I write in the examples. This is just to help you, but you don't need to necessarily have it printed out. Okay, so my first problem is going to be exponents, and I am going to say that it is 5 to the third power. So first thing I'm going to talk about is right here, this 5. That's my base, all right? It's the plain big number, so my base, and it's the number being multiplied. All right, the number being multiplied right there. Here, this 3 up to the right and written a little smaller, that's called my exponent. And it's how many times, whatever that number is how many times you're going to multiply the base. So, how many times Okay, so since this says 3, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take that 5 and that 3, and I'm going to go 5 times 5 times 5, which is 5 to the third power. And you can use your calculators if you like, which would be 125. Okay, so let's do some of the examples here. I will do, this is 2 to the fourth. So that means I'm going to take my base number 2, and it's to the fourth. So I'm going to multiply it by itself 4 times. And when I do that, I'll get 16. So go ahead and pause me for a second and try and do number 2. All right, I'll give you a second to pause. Okay, so those of you who might have gotten a little stuck, you take your base, which is 4, and you multiply 4 by itself, 3 times, because the exponent is 3. So 4 times 4 times 4 will give you 64. So your answer is 64. And we move along. So this is a negative. And see how this negative is inside the parentheses? That means it's negative 3 times negative 3, which gives me a positive 9. Because remember, 2 negatives times each other, they become a positive. Notice the difference here. This negative sign is not grouped within the parentheses. So it's technically outside of parentheses like this. So you would visualize that as negative 1 times 3 times 3. It's very tricky. So make sure you're paying attention. Ooh, is the negative inside my parentheses? Yes, it is. Okay, then you include it. If my negative is just by itself, like it's not grouped within parentheses, then you add that on at the end. The difference with this problem is it's always going to be a negative answer. All right, and don't panic. Fractions, the same thing. You do not distribute that down. You actually do 3 over 4 times 3 over 4. And that will give you 9 over 16. Oops, I forgot to box this answer. Try to box your answers, guys. When we are doing stuff, it just makes it easier for whoever your teacher is to find where your actual answer is. Okay, so it's grouped within the parenthesis. So I'm going to do negative 2 over 3 times negative 2 over 3, which will give me a positive 4. Oh, whoops. See, little mistake. It's to the fourth power. I did it to the second. I still need to keep multiplying. So I'm going to have my handy dandy white out. And negative 2 over 3. So 1, 2, 3. I need one more. Negative 2 over 3. And I will multiply, and I will get a positive 16 over 81. Okay, so we talked a little bit about exponents. And the reason we're talking about those is because we're going to move into the order of operations, which I like to call GEMDAS. The G stands for your grouping symbols, which could be parentheses, it could be brackets, so grouping symbols. The E stands for exponents, everything that we just talked about right here. The M stands for multiplication, or to multiply. And the D stands for division. So the good thing here, the multiply and the division, is it just is whichever one comes first. You solve it from left to right. Whichever one comes first. We start on the left-hand side and we move right. And then finally we get to our favorites, the ones that are just our comfort zone. As I grab the wrong color pen. Addition. And then, of course, subtraction. So again, addition or subtraction, you solve whichever one comes first. You solve from left to right. Yay! Okay, so let's practice what we're going to do here on this one first. Number one, we're gonna bust out our order of operations. And I'm going to look, there's no grouping symbols. Okay, are there any exponents? Yes, there is an exponent right here. So I'm going to start by doing E, my exponent, which means I am going to do 17 minus 32 minus 32, because 2 to the 5th is 32. And see how that negative sign or that subtraction sign is not within the parentheses? So it stays negative here. And then I'm going to bring down the rest of the problem. So divided by 4 plus 6. Right, so right here, I did my exponents. I did 2 to the 5th, and that's where I got the 32. Next up is either multiplication or division. Well, if I'm working from left to right, the first thing I run into is a division problem. So I'm going to do, I'm going to do division next. So I'm going to do 32, negative 32, divided by 4. 17 minus 8 plus 6. And I look at that, and oh, it's just addition and subtraction. Addition, subtraction. And I just do that. 17 minus 8 plus 6. And guys, again, use your calculators. It's totally fine. All right, so 15 is my answer. Pause me for a second and try number 2. So pause. Okay, welcome back if you paused me. If not, we're starting again. There's no grouping symbols, but there is an exponent. So I'm going to do this exponent first. Negative 4 to the 3rd is 64. So 24 minus 64 times 3 plus 15. And I look at what comes next in my order of operations, GEMDAS. Oh, next is multiplication or division, right? I guess I should over here have it, division or multiplication, multiplication, division. All right, so it's actually multiplication here. I'm going to do 24 minus 192 plus 15. Okay, and then I look and I see, what's next? Oh, Well, I'm working left to right, so I'm going to do the subtraction first and then the addition. So addition, subtraction. And when I do that, 24 minus 192 plus 15, I get negative 153. Pause me if I'm ever going too fast. Have your calculator out, work alongside me. That is completely fine. All right, now we have some that start to get a little bit trickier. We have some grouping symbols here, right? Don't we have some grouping symbols? But within those grouping symbols, we have an exponent. So we're going to do these grouping symbols first, but then we have to do that exponent. So I'm going to square that negative 2, right? And it's not in, the negative is not in the parentheses. So it would be 7 minus 4 plus 17 all over negative 14 plus 2 times 5. So now what I'm going to do is I'm still leaving these grouping symbols here, right? And I'm actually going to take care of, because there was grouping symbols with an exponent within them, I did the exponent, and now I'm going to do the grouping. So now I'm doing the grouping, and that will give me 7 minus 4 is 3 plus 17 all over negative 14 plus 2 times 5. All right, well, next in my order of operations, looking at that problem, oops, let me move this up for you so you can see, is multiplication or division. So I'm going to multiply this bit right here, which will give me, as I run out of room in my box here, 3 plus 17 over negative 14 plus 10. And I'm left with addition and subtraction. I'm going to go ahead and simplify that. 3 and 17 is 20. Negative 14 and 10 is negative 4. This I can simplify. 20 divided by negative 4 equals negative 5. That was a tricky one. That's the type of problem you would probably see on a test, just a little bit more difficult. Okay, so let's move to number 4. And go ahead and pause me if you want to try it first. And there's no grouping symbols. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the exponents first. So I see that there's exponents. All right. Negative 7, the negative is not squeezed in with parentheses. So this is going to be negative 49 plus 9 times 4 plus 18 divided by 2 times 5. All right. And then I'm going to do what comes next, my multiplication and division. So here's some multiplication, here's some division. I'm going to simplify those two things. Negative 49 plus 36 plus 9 times 5. All right, remember here, this was a tricky one. I had to work left to right, so I had to divide first, and now I can multiply. So now I'm going to multiply. Okay, so negative 49 plus 36 plus 45. I'm going to do addition and subtraction. So negative 9 plus 36 plus 45 will give me 32. So remember, guys, remember to multiply and divide from left to right, especially in this instant right here. Remember to multiply from from left to right. And that's it. Oh, 15 minutes. Not too long. All right. Bye, guys. See you on the next one.